Hey everybody, it's Marty, the JavaScript party, and my buddy Rhett. We a couple videos in now. She's seems like she's pretty quiet right now. We'll see how it goes. So basically, we are trying to, based on from last week to this week, we're trying to um, handle changes. Like once you change the value of something, then we want to handle it. But we don't seem to be getting enough information to know whether we should call it a call, whether we should, you know, try to, whether we should change things or not change things based on whatever, like information that we're getting from the subscription. So basically, we have this effect, and this is a signals effect. Whenever the effect comes in, well, let's take another step forward, backwards. We set up the configuration for them, and I initialize it with two values. And then I get the effect. And I don't really want to do anything. I don't want to like tell anything that it's I don't want to communicate that the value of of the max results or of the language should change because of this initialization. That would be a bad idea because the value is whatever the value is, not one and not enus. This is just I don't even know if that's the best practice to initialize. I feel like it is, but I don't know. Anyways, so then um, we have this effect, and then this effect is going to update the values of this form. And so I don't think we want to communicate that this is done either until this effect has been run. So I guess that makes sense. Um, so maybe we should create like a component variable that says that the effect data has been has been updated properly. Now I don't know just because it runs like if that means it's right. So let's just do that. This is like I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is. Console dot log dot. And not only that, but like I don't even know if we can count on the behavior that I'm coding to right now to stay as the behavior. It could very, very well change in the future. So, you just have to be ready for that. This is why they call it the bleeding edge, because you're probably going to do stuff that then, when you do an upgrade, breaks. So, effect as executed. So, basically, we're going to go into our console log. And one thing we do know, based on past experiences, that we do have some sort of bug or error that will show in here saying that the the see right now this what we're looking at, this whole body has the focus, and then when we push this button, this thing will be updated to not have the focused anymore. And then I think what's happening is the the app root, so this whole thing will get an ARIA, ARIA, an ARIA value that the browser doesn't like things that have the focus to have, and that will cause a bug in the console. But there has been a change in the browser. I know I've had a browser update since then. I know I've had an IDE update since then. Know I have not had an Angular update. I do know that Angular 19.2 came out, so I do need to do that. I think it came out anyways. I know there's a video about it that I desperately need to watch. I would have watched it yesterday, except that I've been like kind of fixated on my law paralegal studies as of late. So I'm going to hit this button. Yep, it says area hidden on an element cannot. So basically, this doesn't have focus, but there seems to be a timing issue. So what we did not see though is it's because I didn't save it. So I'm just gonna hit save. Kind of go back to where we were at. Go back to seeing my console, hit this. And that's one of the funny things is um, one of the funny things is that um, that error goes away when, except for the very very first time that you, if you leave it up, if you leave this up, and I have a feel it only shows up in development mode. I think it is a major false, like a red herring. But anyways, so the thing that's disappointing is the effect executes, and then, but before the effect is executed, or after the effect is executed, I get a thing that says, hey, the language and max results is 1. And then I get the language and max results is 21. And in both cases, I don't really want to tell the, I don't want to try to change the value because it's already 21 language. And I don't think this is going to be a problem as long as these stay as primitives. But if they become objects and I do like some sort of thing to force the object to change, I'm going to likely get myself into an infinite loop. And if you don't understand that, you will at some point. But basically what happens is if you don't force the object to change, the JavaScript doesn't realize that it changed. So if I change 21 to 22 and but the object stays the same, JavaScript won't catch that the object changed. So what you do is you force the object to change. Well, if you force the object to change but nothing inside of it has changed, well, it thinks that it changed, so then it'll refire the signal, and you can get yourself in a position where it just keeps refiring over and over again. Like you keep telling it that it changed, and then it didn't change, and all that. So hopefully there's something inside of the form element that will give us some sort of indication of what's going on. So, and I don't know this. I think I'm pretty sure I have done this kind of thing before. So let's look at the actual form itself and see if there's some sort of indicator in here that maybe it's the dirty. The problem is, okay, so if we just print out the form, there's a possibility that we're just going to see whatever the current value is, not the value when the log was executed. That is just all tricky. But let's go ahead and look at our inspector, have our console up, bring this up. Okay, so dirty is false in both cases. So we absolutely do not want to like say, hey, change something if it's true. So now I'm going to say 22. Okay, so we got that. So, and it is true. So basically what we want to do is only if it's true do we want it. And I don't, do we want to actually try to change the value. So that is one thing. So we'll add that logic. And I don't know. I feel like, I don't know if this has always been reliable for me. I just don't know. I've done a ton of work in this stuff, but most of the time it's been like sort of in a loud room with lots of distractions and under duress when things just needed to get done. Update the value. And then results. And I don't think, I feel like we could add logic to say, like, even go down to the form, but and then, but I feel like updating both is probably fine. I don't know. Maybe we'll come back and change that approach, but and then 22 or let's make it 2, and then update the value. And so then, so that's good. All right, so now we need a way to update the value, and I don't know, I don't think we have one right now. So let's go to our speech service. Okay, so the thing we want to update is max alternatives and discrete language. And so I believe what will happen is it won't actually fire the signal unless this thing changes. So even though I tell it to fire the signal, it won't. And since there's only 2 things, I'm just going to have a function for each. And I'm just going to copy both of these just for my memory, because I want to put these at the bottom. I don't know why. So for now, I'm just going to paste that there and comment it out. And I'm going to create a function, update. Discrete language. I don't know if I want, if discrete needs to be a unique or not. And that's going to be a void. And basically it's just going to say this dot discrete language equals, and I'm just going to take the string lang, and it's a string, and I'm going to say lang, and then I'm going to say this dot dot set and lang, and then we want to do the same thing for max alternatives. That one's going to be easier to test because we still have a few more things we need to do. Alternatives. And that is a number. I feel like it's okay to give a number like make this short, I can't remember what the word for it is, but give it a nickname, alts instead of max alternatives, just because we just said what it is over here. We I definitely understand the whole idea that, hey, you should shorten things, because in any given context it may not be easy to understand what the change was, but I think if literally the name of the function is the same, gives you the context, then I think it's okay. I think it's just easier just to do this max alternative signals dot set and alts. All right, so now we go ahead and just delete this because we don't need this anymore. And so we have our 2 functions that we've exposed that will update that. So, and I guess what I'll do is I'll copy this since it's really not that much, and I'll hit Alt left to go back to where I was. Oh, keep going. Where are we? Are we into our form yet? Okay, so over here we want to call these 2 functions. The one bad thing about the way I just did this is you can propagate a bad like a misspelling. Because you did the good news. The good thing is uh, the good news is that is it, what is it? It should be in our calls. Maybe not. The good news is that you won't misspell the function. The bad news is if the function is it's language with a capital L in Mac results. Why is language capital L? That is so weird. That's weird, right? That's weird. Maybe it isn't capital. Oh no, okay, it's not. Okay, language and max results. And then, do we already have the service over here? Speech service. So we're importing, yeah, this dot speech service. Yeah, right? Is that right? All right. So that should even do it, right? So because we should we should even be able to check. Now we'll see if we end up with some bizarre console log error. I'm always on the lookout for that. That is, especially when I'm dealing with these reactive forms. That has just been my nightmare. Okay, so if I make this one, and see, that is what is disturbing. Is it gets called update the effect update. See, this is what we do not want to happen. Because then it upset, and we ended up with a bunch of extra calls. And it's not that big of a deal. Like, it really isn't, like, when it first starts happening. But at some point, it ends up causing issues. And I don't know what the best way to deal with this is. And it does disturb me that this is like a string over here, effect executed. So I feel like we should only run this. And I don't know, this is like kind of a rabbit hole that I always end up going down. We should only run this if it's different. So if it happens to be the same, so if this speech service discrete signal is not equal to think we just say value, and I'm thinking this freaking string situation is going to come back to bite me in the butt, because I think it's sending a number. So that, yeah, and I didn't really expect to have a problem there, but I do expect to have a problem. I wouldn't be surprised if I have a problem on the max results. I don't quite understand what's going on with why it becomes a string, even if you do make it a number. I know you can set it to a number, and like I didn't have to make it a number up there, but discrete. Oh, okay, so I do owe 2 strings, so I guess that is a good idea. And I hate it I don't really like it when these things are this long. I'm missing the this. No? What am I doing wrong? Oh, this speech service. Okay, so I want to move this down to the next line. And move this down to the next line just so it's a little bit more readable. And move this guy next to down to the next line. And move this down to the next line. And let's change our language to max results. I don't know if this is going to work. I think this is work. I feel like 93% chance that this is going to work and sort of stop that that chain of events. And then make this one. Okay, and then so at this point there's no other way to change it, so we don't really have to worry about like something outside changing, especially at this point there's definitely no way to change it while this dialogue is up. So and it gets created from scratch, so I think this should work, right? Like, so basically let's refresh and say something that we know we're going to get a bunch of results for. Oh, silly. What? Okay, so we got 6 results. Now let's come back over here, change this to 1. Close it. What? Oops. Gosh. What? And we only got 1 result. And that was what? So let's make it 2. Just to double check. What? I did say what? Oh, we only got 1 that time. What? Thing. Did I not? Okay, for some reason it's not working more than once. What? Okay, so that time it seems like it worked. And it's kind of funny because 2... So let's make it 4. Let's make it 5 and see if we get 4 back. What? What? So we got 4 back. Oh, but it's 5. So we're getting 1 less than whatever number we give it. Okay, so I think with that, okay, so let's go ahead and get rid of all of this stuff because that's weird. It's weird. We'll probably need it all back, but we need to do a bit of debugging on the service side. Because, you know, I could have imagined a lot of bugs. That was not one of them. All of them being one off. Okay, so whenever we get this, whenever we do a discrete record, console.log, and just make sure that this is actually like, it wouldn't surprise me at all. if this is a actual bug in the API. And it wouldn't surprise me if this is an actual bug in my code. Neither would surprise me. If I had to give it odds, I would give it like probably 75%, 80% that it's in my code. But there is a possibility that it's in the code from them. And we'll see. What? And we got one back, but it definitely got two. What? Yeah, so we are definitely, let's try this. Just see if it's laggy for some reason. Let's go with 10 and see if we start getting 2. What? Oh, so we got 6. Okay, so it's not laggy. We are getting 1 less than whatever it's set to. And that, my friends, is why we're doing this. Because this may be a bug that just showed up today. This may be a bug that's been in there forever. We have no way of doing, but we have seen things change. And, this is a very fluid technology that we're working with here. So it's not reliable. It's not really ready for prime time, but it's incredibly useful to a lot of people. So, it's worth, its value is so high that um, it's worth experimenting with and possibly building something with it. We just need a way to keep a very, very close eye on it. What? Yep, see, we get 4. So we're getting 1 less than whatever we're sending in. And maybe that is what it's supposed to do. So this recognition. Let's ask ChatGPT if it knows anything. Problem is ChatGPT. If ChatGPT was a person, it would be a liar. It would lie all the time. You would be like, man, that if it was a human, you'd be like, that person is really smart. Like, it's crazy how smart they are, but they'll just make shit up anytime. Um, um, so oddly, comma, 2, 5, I get 4 back. Always get 1 than the value I set, except when I that's what should be able. See, I bet you that's it. So yeah, I think that it's something. I love that. Set to 5, but expect 4 in your findings. Um, just a small bug on the API side. Future versions. So I would love to report something like this. I don't know why I feel a lot of anxiety about reporting something like this, but let's just click through to the Chrome tracker because it would be cool to be able to do something. I don't know why, but the link does not seem to work. That's funny. The link to the Chromium bug tracker work. Oh, you're what the hell? Oh my God. Uh, the things we experience these days are just so crazy. Mm, speech API Max Alternatives. Wow. 7D views. Assignee fix obsolete. Hmm. See, I wonder. Okay, so I would have to sign in. What happens if I sign in? It would be fun to create something like this. I acknowledge. Who the hell knows what the heck I'm agreeing to here? Assign to me. Oh, create an issue. This is so funny. All right, so I feel like I've done a good job and moved forward. It would be fun to actually create one, but at this point, I'm feeling a bit of anxiety about this. I'm probably gonna need a night to think through it, and maybe tomorrow I'll report this bug. And maybe I'll give it like a week or two, and then if we still see this bug in a week or two, it'll be cool. And I guess if that happens, I should push the code out someplace so that they can try it. I should basically upload the code to GitHub so they can see the actual line of code, um, and then that's messing up, and then push the that out there. It's kind of a bummer that it's not pure JSS because it'll be minified, so they can't really see the actual thing. But anyways, that would be kind of cool to get something fixed in the browser, in a way like I've written code. I've written code, not to brag. Okay, I don't mean to brag here. Okay, so I do. I'm bragging, but I've written code that like was in front of 40 million people the next day, and I was trusted by the organization. Like the organization said, okay, here's a bug. We need it fixed for tomorrow, which is the most important day in our entire business, and uh, you must assign it to Marty. Like that happened, and then I wrote the code, and this manager, who later on became a manager to another place, and I'm pretty sure because of this experience. I was trying to get a job there, and he blackballed me, and I didn't get a job there. But he had his own solution, which I was unaware of. He had provided a solution, and then I came up with a different solution. And then he was like, "Why? Why did you do this? Why did you do a different solution?" I'm like, "I don't know. I didn't know do your solution. I don't care. I was given this task. I did my task. You do it. Do whatever you want to do." He goes, "You can't do that. You can't just tell me you don't know." But I didn't. I really didn't know why. But then he analyzed his solution and he analyzed my solution, and he realized that there was a couple of huge advantages to my solution over his solution. But he spent like 4 hours doing an analysis, and it was just never good between me and him ever again after that. Um, but anyways, yeah, maybe tomorrow we'll create a Chromium issue, um, and then maybe we'll get it fixed, and then maybe we will fix something that affects. Maybe we will be the cause that causes something that gets fixed for hundreds, maybe even a billion users, right? Like a billion, maybe like, okay, let's ask how many people use Chrome, because it ends up being in Edge too. And it's really not Chromium. Do you know the number of people that would be impacted by a change to the Chromium code? So 3.5 billion people, and then another additional 3 to 400 million. So almost probably 4 billion people, over 4 billion people would. So if I made a report and then there was a fix that came because of that report, that code fix would show up in over 4 billion people's computer. Man, what a thought. What a thought that is. And yeah, and I think it is pretty obvious. I think it's a pretty obvious thing that it's broken right now, but it may not stay broken. And so it might make more sense to give it a week or two to see if it stays broken. If it's still broken in a week or two, then, file a report. There's a very good chance that the fix is already in the pipeline, and all I would be doing is causing friction. But if it's still there in a couple weeks, it probably makes sense to fix it. And the thing is it might not even be in the API. Like, the API might be doing it right, but whatever it's connecting to on the operating system might the mistake. This is a stack of technologies. But anyways, 39 minutes. It's not horrible. I have a ton of interesting activities, mostly around washing the windows on my house, to get done today. So, and then we're going to play Ultimate Frisbee at 4 o'clock, which is only 4 hours and 45 minutes from now. And then me and my wife will go out for a lovely dinner. It's going to be great. So one of our favorite things that we like to do is go out and eat in one of the wonderful restaurants we have around here. And then, yeah, I've got a great day planned for me. And I think Rhett I think she's actually, I'm almost sure she's sound asleep. Her eye just opened. But yeah, so I don't think reporting Chromium bugs is as exciting to her as it is to me. But let's see. Yeah, let's see what happens tomorrow, and then let's see what happens next week. If we still have this bug, maybe we should report it, and then maybe I should also report. Not while we're being snitches. Maybe I should report this other thing too. Um, this thing, because this is definitely a bug, and I guess it would make sense just to, um, yeah, Yeah, maybe I should report this to the Angler material team because I do think this is probably an Angler material timing issue. Um, and probably somebody literally could fix it with a line of code. Um, and then who knows? Yeah, maybe I've opened a new chapter of my life. Um, Anyways, everybody, happy coding. Bye.